Welcome to episode 8 of NoiseMap. In this episode, we're continuing on from episode 7. We've already put some barriers outside building 4, and we're trying to optimize them to reach a free field level of 60 decibels at the front of the building. So the orange levels are touching the buildings here and here. That's 55 to 57.5, and well, we're moving up, aren't we? But we're still only 57.5-ish there, and in fact, if you look in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, it's only 55, so a bit over. Well, we don't need such high barriers, so let's reduce the height again. So I'll select one of them, do Ctrl R to select the chain. Oh, I've got to select them individually. I'm holding down the Shift key. I've selected them all. You can see it shown here. Now, what should we do? Should we take off 1 meter of barrier? Well, why not? Take off another 1 meter. See what that does. Apply that change. And now we need to save that to the database. I'm going to again save it to the current scenario. So now we have a 2 meter barrier, and we'll calculate the database contours. We want to close the present contours. We'll calculate just for that tile, and we'll keep those parameters, and we'll perform locally as before. And load the results for all roads. Right, what have we got now? It is worse because now we're in the orange area, and we can see that the orange area is 57 to 60, but perhaps it's only 60 decibels up there. Now let's look carefully at the bottom left hand corner. 57.8, 57.6, what about there? 58.9, we're quite close, but we're still well within the 60 dB that we're trying to reach. So I'll close the contour display box just for the moment, and we'll select the barriers again. Select them, hold down the Shift key, select all 4, make sure they are all selected. Now I think that perhaps we should have a 1 meter barrier now. That's gone down by 1 meter. And we'll apply that, and we'll save the changes to the database because we can't do the calculation if we don't. Okay, and again calculate. Load the results for all roads, and well, now we've got some red here, haven't we? And we can see that's exactly 60 there. 60.9 there. Oh, what a shame we can't quite make it with just that barrier selection. So let's select the barriers again. So a 2 meter barrier isn't quite enough, is it? Let's just select these other segments of barrier. So we have selected them all. They're not easy to see because the red of the barrier is hidden, but I can just switch the contour off for a moment. Yeah, that shows that they're all selected. That's fine. I'm going to add half a meter, so now it's a 1.5 meter barrier. We'll apply that and commit that to the database. Okay, and calculate the database contours. We do want to close those. We want to calculate just for that tile, and I'll perform the local calculation. Load the results for all roads. There's the barrier. I'll lift that up so we can use it if we need to. And actually, if we look, the red line has moved in just slightly, 59.4, it's showing 60.3, so it must be that colour. It's not totally easy to see, is it? Let's put the line drawing in, which will label them. That's the 60 contour. So perhaps there's a slight discrepancy between the contour and what the pointer is showing us. I believe the actual contour line is going to be the accurate line. The reason this may not be 100% accurate is because it's having to interpolate against the face of the building, which may not be totally accurate. In fact, from this it looks as though perhaps we don't need this part of the barrier to be quite as high. So let's see if we can adjust it and refine it a little bit more. So if I select that bit of barrier, maybe I'd be okay if I made that only 1 meter high in that part. So I've unticked for barrier 3, I've unticked the ½ meter, and it's only using a 1 meter height. So this barrier is lower in this section. And let's commit those changes. Okay, and let's calculate database contours for this tile. And you can see that hasn't increased the noise level in this area. It's perhaps rather marginal just here. And in fact, it might be wise to increase the height of the barrier just here and reduce it there. So let's see what happens if we do that. I think I'll increase the height of this part. So I've selected that. Let's make that part 2 meters high and get rid of those, apply that and save that. So now I've got the barrier at a certain height in this part, higher here and lower there. Let's calculate that. And there we are. That's brought us a bit further away here. And we're still okay here. And in fact, perhaps we don't really need this part of the barrier at all. What would happen if we didn't have that at all? So I'll calculate the contours again. And yes, certainly this barrier wasn't actually doing anything, and we haven't worsened it in this area. Very quickly we've arrived at a workable design. It's taken only a few minutes and we've saved our client quite a lot of money. You might be wondering, well, how do I remember what adjustments have been applied where? You can do that by going to the all output screen here, and if we go down to the bottom of this screen and view display the model parameters, here on the barrier data we have a list showing which barrier adjustments apply to which sections of barrier. So barrier 1, the left hand end, has adjustments 2 and 3 applied. Adjustment 2 is 1 metre, adjustment 3 is 0.5 metres, so it has an adjustment of 1.5 metres in total. Barrier 1, the right hand part, has adjustment 1 applied, and that is an adjustment of 2 metres. Barrier 2 has got 2 and 3, but not 1. Barrier 3 has no adjustments applied, so it is at ground level. So we know what barrier adjustments have been used to get to the particular noise levels in our result. That's just a brief example of how you can use NoiseMap to optimize the design of barrier heights. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Goodbye.